Dorian has been drawn to water and wild terrain her entire life. When the stars aligned, they provided her and her partner, Bob, 3 acres along the sea-bound coast, where their free spirits flourish. But first, we'll visit Sara, a lawyer from Barcelona, and husband Dwayne, longtime city dwellers who now spend their days on a waterfront property that provides breathing room for the soul. Water, deep, flowing, mysterious, ever-changing yet constant. The inspiration of artists and adventurers. It's the foundation of life. We are drawn to it, to watch it, listen to it, immerse ourselves, and for those who choose, to live beside it.
The first person that saw this place was Dwayne. He was always like, this would be an amazing place. I needed to be a little bit convinced.
2000 to about 2012, I had the pleasure of living here in the area and actually kind of saw this house be constructed. So I always really had my eye on it, and this house became available for purchase. So the first time that I kind of drove into this driveway, the color of the house, the cedar shingles, just made it look like it really belonged. But it wasn't until I kind of come on the other side of the house and realized how close it was in proximity to the cliff that kind of goes down into the Matagan River. The water flowing, it was just like a nice cool breeze. I didn't realize it was going to hit me the way that it did.
I mean, I fell in love right away.
Once I seen her facial expression,
yeah.
I knew we were in for sure.
I am originally from Spain, and I arrived here because I married a Canadian. We met in the US while we were both living in the US. We had to make a decision between New York and this place because Dwayne is originally from here and my stepdaughter lives in this town. We thought it was only going to be for a few months, and then 2 years into it, I think this is home.
For us to finally be here and kind of be in the nucleus of this kind of wonderful town just allows us as a family to provide that support network for our daughter, but also just be part of the community that really just looks out for its own.
And for me, it was a big change. Coming from a city,
Yeah.
I never had a car. Being able to have dogs that don't have to go on a leash. I mean, you could keep walking for hours and the dogs will never encounter any other human being or any other animal. So many people ask me, how did you get used to this, right? Because it's so remote and we travel all the time. We are 3 hours away from the airport. So it's like, how does that feel? And I always say, as you get closer and you start seeing the landscape, I always say it's like yoga for my soul. It's a complete disconnect from the corporate world that I work with every day. At first, the road is like, where are we going? Are we lost? Are we in the right place? And then you show up in the house and it's like so majestic. We enter and the first thing that you see is a magnificent staircase. This is something that the previous owners built and they were very proud of. But in this main level, I think what attracts most people is the openness that the living room open kitchen offers. And the main focal point is the fireplace. Everything flows in that area, whether they are sitting watching TV, we are at the dining room. This is the center for our family. That's where the majority of the family meetings happen. And having everything so open allows for conversations and for wine to flow. I think one of the things that we were missing the most as we were living other places was the space. And this house provided exactly that, space. But when you're presented with more space than furniture, that's also a challenge because you have to feel it. One of the things that we relied very much on was antique pieces. In my office, for example, you would see that there's a photographer boudoir sofa that attracted me because it was the pop of color that I wanted for the office. And you can see that pop of color throughout the house. The stairs that leads to the lobby in the second floor, which is our reading nook. That space also has a magnificent view of the river.
One thing that really kind of drew me in, the master bedroom, albeit not very big in size, branches into a bathroom, which just allows us to have, our space and an exceptional closet space, which, my wife requires her space, but I have a lot of stuff as well. So it kind of just fits us very well. Upstairs, it really offers a couple rooms for Lauren's bedroom to have her space, and then kind of a playroom with her Legos and stuff like that. Moving into this house really kind of allowed us to kind of spread out, forge our own identity with a little bit more space. So my office now provides me that space where I can kind of not showcase, but just be proud of the experience that I've had, and just really kind of puts me in the right mind frame for going to work every day. But my office kind of overlooks kind of people coming in. For me, it's just kind of like I'm kind of the protector of the house, kind of looking out at who's coming in, and I really enjoy that.
The first thing that people is surprised about is when they turn to our road, they are like, what? How can this be here? And that's the first impression, because the house is very mansion-like, especially for the area. The stream is actually the main focus of the outside. I love going outside with the dogs. They are water dogs, so every time I open the door, the first thing they do is jump on the river. And to me, it's just a very unique way of seeing the seasons change. So it's such an integral part of the house that now if I had to live in a house that didn't have any water on it, I know I would miss it.
This property opens up a lot of acreage for us to go explore. So we're sitting on 6 acres here, but our neighbor who owns the majority of the land around here has just been very kind in saying, have fun ultimately. And so it gives us an opportunity just to kind of spread out and, like I said, disconnect when we're working from home and just kind of go walk for 2 hours in the forest. And by the time you get back, your head is just cleared out, and it's incredibly important.
One of my favorite features of the house is the fireplace by the river. That's one of the corners that we have put more work on it in terms of like having to cut the trees. This is an area that can have a lot of insects in the summer. So we wanted to have that kind of wind to allow us to use that particular area. Adirondack chairs are very typical. It's something that I didn't know before, and became part of like what I associate with Nova Scotia. So I knew I wanted to have those chairs. And well, right now we have that fireplace is one of those steps that we're gonna take forward, building onto that area, putting some gravel, putting some storage for the wood logs out there. And it's the place, honestly, where the puppies feel the happiest, because they are right there by the river, so they can be coming in and out and just sit down, and it's a perfect place to relax after work and have a drink or two.
Every morning, 7 o'clock, we're waking up, coffee's already brewing. Dogs come down, they're like, well, they want their morning snack, and then we'll go outside and kind of let them have their kind of morning run around. 7:32, I think it is, that we embark as a family and walk out to the bus stop.
We will have another break around lunchtime, and that's when we do a little bit of more of a walk towards the river, and we throw a couple sticks and we let them swim as much as they want. But it's also an opportunity that I take myself to breathe in all the smells, the sounds of all the birds. So one of the big changes when you move from a city to a more rural environment is that a lot of the things that I used to do by walking or by commuting with public transportation is not even an option around here. So when you make such a radical change in your life, you have to integrate some movement. Very recently, I engaged with personal trainers, and we make use of the very beautiful gym that we have.
We do sit in the chair 8 hours a day, so if you don't move sometime, it's going to catch up to you. It really helps me get off to the right start. This home has given us the opportunity where the family really do come here and they drop anchor and we're together, and there's space enough for us to kind of do our things. Like my sisters live in the city, so when they get a chance to come here, kind of relax, no talking. And if you know them, that's not kind of what they do, but they kind of slip into that, just kind of country lifestyle. And I'm proud that we're able to invite our families here to spend that time together and just kind of really just cherish the opportunity to be together.
Yeah.
Looking at the property and the opportunity that it presents, I mean, the list is quite long, but I think kind of being able to be connected to kind of country life a lot more, you do pick up a lot of toys that do take up a lot of space. So having a spot to kind of store all that stuff away, maybe too story for a golf simulator, but we'll work on that. One of the main things is kind of the backyard. Because of the drastic changes in season, I'd really like to be able to kind of construct something out there that would enable us to be able to enjoy it regardless of what season. The back kind of patio area is that area where I think there's a lot of potential.
At the top of my bucket list would be putting a pool. Having a pool where my stepdaughter can come with all her friends and spend time here. So if he pays attention, then that's at the top of my bucket list. I don't believe in forever homes. I think a home fulfills your needs whenever that time it is. And one of my plans was that eventually I would like to spend more time where I'm from, in Spain.
Not saying I'm escaping the Canadian winters, but hey, like spending some time in Barcelona in January does seem pretty attractive. Being next to the water really just means more than just being next to the water. It is a source of like life and community for us.
For me, water means home. I was born in the water, I've been raised by the water, so whenever I have a stressful day, whenever I want to relax, water is what I am geared towards. Whether it's going with the pups and throwing a few sticks and for them to just swim and me relaxing, just watching them, and they always make me laugh, or just going to the beach and walk and just completely distress myself. I mean, I'm so happy we made this decision.
I fell in love with Cape Breton. I came here on a trip with my parents when I was young. I always remembered it. And when I got to my 60s, I thought I'd always been a butterfly. And I thought, you know, it's time to kind of settle down. So I started doing what I call my real estate porn, looking at places all night long, and eventually settled on this part of Cape Breton. I looked at a couple of properties, ended up with this one almost by default, but I'm so glad I did because it's on the edge of the village. I mean, it was a sweet little house, little Acadian farmhouse, right by the road. But what I loved about it, once you're looking towards the water, you have no sense of it. It's just because there's acres and acres full of deer and coyotes and foxes. When I first came here, the staircase, I'd have to go up on my hands and knees because I'm a huge human being. And it was made for Acadians in the 1800s. I couldn't stand up upstairs, and found a person just down the road, a recently retired school teacher, actually said, I think I can get the ceiling up for you. We did it. We created some rooms up there. We got a bathroom up there, opened it up, got some views. What was right for me was the property itself, but it was just the way it's situated at the edge of a village. But there's the ocean there, there's the river there, and there's wildness, and yet there's a corner store and a post office, you know, an easy walk away. The first thing you have to know about houses in this part of the world is you don't use the front door. They're strictly decorative. So we come up the side door and then into the kitchen, which I love, is huge, huge, huge. The backsplash in the kitchen is made up of tiles that I would go to various ceramic shops, and out back they'd throw away odd-shaped tiles. And so just over a couple of long winters, I copied a couple of Maud Lewis paintings, a couple of Van Goghs. I made up a pretend Tom Thompson, and had a wonderful local carpenter built the island. It was so funny. He said, I'm going to put that on roller so you can roll it away and have a kitchen party. And Bob's even learning to cook a few things in it.
Yep.
From the kitchen, you go into the dining room, and the living room, and it has a staircase right in the middle of it. Then one goes up the stairs, and we've got a large sitting area. Then there's the bedroom where the dogs sleep. Then there's the main bedroom, which we actually call the king's room because there's a wonderful old bed in there, carved in the probably about 1870 for a royal visit. When we redid upstairs, we created another bathroom there with a shower. Most of the house is unique. It's just my own wackiness expressed. Especially at the beginning, so much had to be done on such a shoestring that I just had to make stuff up. Buy old pieces of furniture at auctions for $10 and strip them. Goofy pictures. Door that used to be the front door is now the upstairs bathroom door. Just had to put some glass on it so you couldn't see through. And then where we're sitting now is actually an addition that was put on in 2014. We call it the jungle room. Because it has no dead Elvis, but because it has a lot of things that I collected when I thought I wouldn't be living here, but in Belize.
I think that every room in this house is unique and beautiful. But I will say, on the dog room, it's really special. We have some paintings up there that Dorian really loves. Some paintings she did going up the side of the wall. And across the top, I even had a photograph in there that I did. And that's my special room.
The dog's room, which is a big sitting playroom. And from there, there's a little deck and a dog door, so the dogs are free to come and go as they want. We have 2 decks downstairs and 1 upstairs. So any of them are great views. And look out, I can see the otters in the river, I can see the loons, see the shorebirds, usually I can see a great heron.
And occasionally, you'll see the deer walking by. The wildlife is just tremendous.
When I first got the house, the shingles were painted. And I found that I would spend one summer scraping, the next summer painting. I found it incredibly frustrating. Then I had this genius idea. I'll paint it with boat paint because if boats are in the water, clearly this will withstand. But the water got in behind. And so each shingle became like a balloon holding water with the boat paint holding it in. Then about 2 years ago, we decided to have the whole place reshingled, and a local contractor was doing the shingling. And I sent them a picture of some waves I'd seen on a house in Maine, and I just wrote, "Do you know anybody who can do this?" I never got an answer, and drove up, and there it was, wonderful waves all around. And the chap who did the waves, he then did a couple of gulls that are on the new shed that they built us. And then I said, "Well, when you do the front part, could you keep going?" He said, "Yeah." So he did a wonderful heron, and then off the side deck here, there's just a wonderful whale tail coming up out of the waves.
And her gulls, the heron and the whale tail are just flippin' excellent.
And the waves that you call the wrinkles.
Yeah, it's got a lot of wrinkles on the ceiling.
I love the roof. I love the metal roof. When I first talked to people here about getting a metal roof, oh no, you couldn't have one in this climate.
I think, though, the way that the wildflowers run into the house, there's an area of high grass. The deer come in here at night and lie down in the grass. And Hooligan protects us from the deer, but it's awesome. We see the deer walking up the side of the house, up to the road. We planted some sunflowers. The deer came up, chopped the sunflowers at deer height.
So these are our dogs. This is Hooligan. He's my Irish Hooligan. And he was so perfect that I decided to get him a pet. Our land goes down to the ocean. Although we only have about, 3 acres? We've got dozens of acres that nobody else uses, which makes the dogs incredibly happy. But I can't pretend to own all that. There's so much to see in those woods.
It has truly breathtaking scenery.
In the summer, I keep promising Bob every year we won't spend much time gardening. And our gardening is not proper gardening. It's just letting things go wild, but sometimes we get mad at certain things that try to invade. We walk the dogs 2-3 times a day. We know lots of interesting people around. There's tons of music happening around here. And I like to read a heck of a lot. I'm retired now, so I have nothing but free time.
I like reading, I like watching TV.
And you like to get in your sports car and drive.
Oh yeah,
Come on,
that's
twisty
right.
roads. And I like to stay home and ignore it.
There are more twisty roads here. They're perfect sports car roads. Wow.
And I'm saying, look out for the deer, dear. The only thing that I do on the water is kayaking. Occasionally in the water swimming. Bob, not so much. He finds it more than a little cold.
But I love getting out in the kayaks. Both dogs will swim along beside the kayaks. We gather huge flat rocks on the far side and we come back. It's flippin' awesome.
The rocks are for our path out there. It's not that we have a rock fetish.
So I really enjoy that what you can do on the water. I have some friends that I go fishing with, and we go fishing for cod.
This river here is full of oysters. And one year he went and collected oysters.
I really like shellfish, and we went out clam digging, so that was enjoyable. I love the water and the activities you can do on it.
In the summer when it's really hot, we have plastic chairs down by the shore, and I love just to go and sit in the water on a chair like this and read. And the dogs sit beside us and they look out for whatever they're looking out for. I grew up in Ottawa and we had a cottage in the Gatineau Hills on a lake. When I travel and I go to a desert, I say it's beautiful, but after 2 days, I just start to itch. Always have to be near water. What I like most about the ocean is you never know. You never know what you might see. You might not, but you might see a seal, you might see a pilot whale, you might see a harbor dolphin. There's always that possibility, so it's never the same. Plus, of course, with the tides, it's ever changing. You never know what's going to have washed up since the last tide. So it's a changing panorama. It's fascinating.
Home is a place that you love. It's everything that goes into that building. You look around the building that I'm in right now, you see Dorian's art, you see some of my sketches, some of my photographs, and all that ties together. But what makes it really, really important is who's in that building.
You're so philosophical today.
Dorian's in the building. The 2 dogs are in this building. Doesn't get any better than that.
Thanks, babe.
The heart of the home is what we do together.
Aww,
Out working in the garden,
you sentimental old fool.
planting those carrots that will grow or will not grow,
And the peas that won't.
and the peas that won't grow. So I would think that outside work with Dorian, with the dogs, that's where I'm really, really happy. I feel very, very complete.
Bob just spoke so eloquently about what home means to him. I can't top that. So all I can say is, oh my God, housework.
Whether nestled alongside a riverbank or perched high above a distressed ocean, living on the shore has its perks. But beautiful views are only the beginning. The sights, sounds, and sensations of the water are constant in their impact, improving moods, perspectives, and lives. To exist and grow on its edge is extraordinary, an experience made even sweeter when shared with the people we love.